this is going to look like a security dog with armor on it. So I was going to paint the actual dog, possibly of these two, one that looks like copper paint or simulating chrome. So it would be either of the two. And then use aluminum for the metal part. So
this will be a paint?
Yeah, so that would be a paint.
Is this paint on something, or is this the
Yeah, this is fiberglass resin that I poured, which is exactly what the dogs are made out of. Just not sure of which I will use for the underbase color, because this is going to be the same color as the aluminum. So really the whole thing is going to look, which might be fine, all metal. Yeah. You know, so, but of course I want you to be able to tell the difference between what is metal and not, even from visually looking from far away or whatever. Aluminum, because I was trying to go for something that won't rust. So, I mean, who wants a security dog that's all rusted? No. Trying to go for that, of course, I can do it rusted and it's maybe a little easier, but I was going to try to use aluminum so everything's nice and shiny and it'll always be nice and shiny.
Do you know?
They also wanted me to do their logo on it, which I was thinking putting Main Street's logo on one side on the chest or rib cage area, and their logo basically, which is for the artistic side, is just words. So it's kind of hard for me to, how do I represent words into actual images? So what I'm going to do is their logo in words, saying Batavia Main Street, and their actual logo, which is windmill, and that wave of water on the shoulder, just like a patch. And then same on the other side, Batavia Chamber of Commerce, and then theirs is a windmill as well, but in a different shape and design.
How long do you think it'll take you to make that bulldog?
Great question. Great question I don't have an exact answer of. A couple weeks, I'd assume. Unless I just do 8 hours a day every single day. Then it'll take maybe a few days. But it's a lot of metal, and I gotta somewhat get an exact same shape, form fitting of the dog itself. So, and which depended on how big of a dog I would receive. If it is humongous, that's a lot of metal. If it's this size, it's still a lot of metal compared to the smaller one, but I could get the sheets of metal forming this pretty easily. The only hard part is going to be the helmet, I feel.
How long have you been doing metal work?
I think since, well, before I graduated college, which was a few years ago, so I think 12 years I've been doing sculptures. Started off in wood and plasters, the average, you know, first.
Why metal?
Fell in love with it. It's just the presence of the metal, something hard to work with, and, you know, always up for a challenge kind of thing. Wood I felt was a little bit easy, and metal always lasts. And it's just the basic overall presence that the metal gives I like more. And that is always a hard question I get all the time, why metal? And I'm like, you know, I can't think.
That was the first one ever to think of that.
No, not at all. You know, all the time, like, you know, those things I mentioned, you know, it is a challenge, but I love the look of, the overall look of it.
Oh, I think a lot of people like metal, and they like the better rusts, and they like the whole, I mean, I think it's great to have a metal, what do you call a metal artist? Metallurgist?
We're not exactly a blacksmith, or, but because that is a specific type of style of working with metal, but a lot of people just call us that. But it's not
really that.
And it's not that at all. It's not, technically it's not that really. So sculptor that works in metal really. Yeah. And I like to use fiberglass resin, which is exactly what this dog is made of, so I know of its properties. I just wanted to make sure if it was the exact same type of fiberglass that I normally work with, and that's why I was talking about samples. So I wanted to experiment. I was thinking, which reminds me, I was thinking of trying to add some copper elements in this too, speaking of aging. So maybe some copper plates in there and let it patine, and you'd have a nice aqua blue finish to that. So that's why I'm kind of debating really what kind of color I should do underneath.